Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. We're here with some somber news on this podcast today. We didn't think we'd be talking about this, but it looks like we are. Rafael Nadal has withdrawn from the US Open and the rest of the 2021 season. JG, how are you feeling, most importantly?
Well, you're not the first person to ask. I feel like everyone's been wondering how I am, and it's not good. Like, I've tried to stay super positive these last few weeks. I've tried to dismiss all of the news about him playing golf in Spain and all of this, thinking he's going to play. He's not going to miss out on this opportunity. He's already said recently his foot's feeling a little bit better. But since then, it's just been so sad. He's withdrawn from the whole season and the US Open. We're going into the US Open with no team, the champion last year. Now no Rafa, no Federer. It's just Djokovic going to be there, who's got a real shot of winning. I know you've got the other guys as well, but it's just, we're not going to be seeing the 2020 going into a slam. Are we ever going to see it? Is it going to be maybe a Wimbledon next year? Is Roger going to play Australian Open? I've got so many questions, but on Rafa, it's just heartbreaking because I feel terribly sorry for the guy. This has been an injury he's had for a long time, since 2005 or something. It's been a long time coming, and he just can't seem to shake it. And right now, it's got to the stage where it's influencing his career so drastically. He can't even enter the big tournaments. Usually, he would just sort of prioritize the big ones and not do some of the smaller ones. But now he can't do anything, and it sort of begs the question again: are we coming now to the end, coming to an end of an era, because you've got Roger pulling out left, right, and centre. Now Rafa's pulling out. I'm heartbroken. I'm so sad. I can't believe it. It's just, I did not want to believe this would be possible, and I was really going for this US Open hard in the fact that I thought Rafa could do something special and win the whole thing. I know it's crazy. People are going to call me delusional. He's not beating Djokovic on hard courts for ages. Oh, he's not going to be able to beat Medvedev and all these guys. I understand that, but I would have still gone on a whim. I think he could have potentially done something special. We know, if anything's taught us with Rafael Nadal, you never discount the guy. And if he's playing tennis, of course he can have a shot on any surface, any time of year, in any conditions. So that's why I'm so sad, because I really wished he was here. And not just that, we're going to miss him in the ATP finals. It has a bit of a sour taste for the rest of 2021 for me now.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just sad that he is obviously a reigning champion in the US Open. He didn't compete last year. Dominic Thiem is also a reigning champion. The two reigning champions of the US Open, who we're not going to get to see this year. It's very sad. It opens the doors wide open, really, now for Djokovic. I know a lot of people will probably say Medvedev is the main threat to him yet again. Probably right, but Rafa beat Medvedev in the last time they played in the final here. And he just makes the tournament come to life more, doesn't it? When he's there, there's a buzz around the place. Same with Roger as well. Same thing. They both put bums on seats, and they both bring just something extra to the tournaments. And it's just sad that we're not going to see Roger or Rafa there. Dominic Thiem as well, very sad for him. Obviously, he's had his injury woes as well. But Rafa's a massive miss because he's the main threat normally to Novak Djokovic.
Not just that, you hit the nail on the head. Not even just in terms of threat and winning things. He's the most exciting player. And it's not just me saying this. I saw a poll the other day voted by the fans over the last few decades of the 5 most exciting tennis matches, and Rafael Nadal made 4 out of 5 of them.
Not surprised.
It speaks volumes. Let's be honest, there's so many different encounters he's had over the years, what leaves you at the edge of your seat. It's incredible. That's why, for me, he goes down as my greatest, because I find him the most entertaining. And we're going to lose that entertainment factor, along from the fact that he could potentially go and win these things. So Rafa's out. He's playing golf. Hopefully he can recover soon. Shall we hear what he had to say about it all?
Let's do it, mate. I know he's released a statement on Twitter. Here we go. I'll play this.
This is the English version. So we had his one. We're going to have him speaking to us on the podcast again, just like what we did with Roger.
Okay. Right.
Hello, everyone. I am very sorry to announce that I will not be able to keep playing tennis during the 2021 season. But as you know, I have been...
It's like he was going to start laughing at the start. Do you not think?
I think so.
His was going.
I think he just knows that when he starts doing his English, it normally goes into like a comedy mode with like he does with all of the... He seems to have such good a comedy like timing with all the the journalists and stuff. I think when he goes into the English side, he has a lot more. Wasn't it Jose Morgado was saying that when he speaks to the Spanish press, he's a lot harsher with the journalists than he is with the British press. He's quite playful and quite fun. So when he goes into the English mode,
I think it's just the translation and the way it comes across.
Exactly. Yeah.
With my foot for the last year now, I missed a lot of important events for me, like the US Open now, like Wimbledon, Olympics, and many other events that are so important and emotional for me. So. After coming back from Toronto, and I take it a couple of days to think about it, talk. I needed to talk with my family, with my team, and with my doctors, especially to understand what's going on. But the foot is not the proper way today. And during the last year, I were not able to practice and prepare myself the way that I need to.
Well, that's quite a big thing, really, isn't it? He wasn't able to even practice like the way that he needs to compete at this high level, which is you can't really. Look how high the level is.
And he's someone who loves to practice. He's not just he just sort of wanders on the court like Kyrgios every now and then. He puts the work in off the court, in the gym. He does it on the practice courts. You can see it. How many people pack out to watch him on the intensity you see Rafael Nadal play, particularly on clay, on a practice court. It's like you'd pay a lot of money just to see that. I'm talking like you'd pay a ticket to watch, say, the semi-final of Wimbledon. You go watch him practice at Roland Garros. It's very similar. The intensity is so high. He's an athlete. And if he's not able to practice at the highest level, you can understand why he's withdrawing, because he wants the very best. He expects the very best from himself. And if he's not unable to deliver on it, then he's a shadow of himself and he doesn't feel the need to put his body through it and play. Doesn't want to see no half-hearted stuff, which makes me think he's not going to be, say, I don't want to dig out Andy Murray, but I can't see Rafael Nadal doing what he does and coming back to the tour, sort of trying to pick up the odd win here and there, losing to people you shouldn't really lose to if you're a big name. I think once he gets to the level where he's no longer competing near the top, it's going to be curtains for him. I think that's just the type of person he is. Well,
especially as he is, his best surface is the hardest on your body, probably. Like with these long matches drawn out across like 3 or even a 3 set for him is over 3 hours normally on clay courts. So it's a very demanding. His body has taken a battering over the years, and he's just been trying to struggle past, unfortunately. And it's just now. You got to think how much pain he's probably been in the past 10 years or so, and how he's been competing over those years with all that pain. And for it to now be at the point where he can't compete, it must be agony. It's not, because he can compete under pain, but this must be now to the point where it's just impossible to compete.
It's a good point from Cafe. There's just he was like, there's no way, shape, or form. He's trying his best. He would love to be out there. You can see it in Toronto. He's trying to play, but it's just not working out for him. Ended up having to pull out of Cincinnati. He pulled out, but he played Toronto and lost to Lloyd Harris. But let's continue with the video.
To be competitive at the standards that I want to be. So we had to take that decision, but I am confident that I will recover myself 100%, and I will be able to fight again for the most important things. The injury is nothing new. is the same injury that I am having since 2005. In that moment, the doctors were very negative about my future career, but honestly, I was able to have a career that I never dreamed about. No, so I am confident that I will recover again the foot, and if the foot is better, I am confident that my tennis and my mentality will be there again soon. No? So the only thing that you can be sure I'm gonna fight every single day to make that happen. Remain a couple of beautiful years. I really think about it, and I hope to see you soon. I want to say thanks in advance to all the fans for all the messages, and especially during these hard moments. All the messages are helpful now. So thanks for the support as always. Don't have any doubt that I will miss you a lot, but I will be back. And
yeah,
cut himself off there. Yeah, I mean, just classy as always from Rafa. Just so sincere, and yeah, it is heartbreaking. Just like
I do like his positivity in that last bit though, where he's saying, "I will be back." I kind of get that feeling. I will recover from this. I can get over it. He's had the injury since 2005. A lot of the doctors, people were saying, not sure if you can really continue, Rafa, mate. I think it might be might have to end it here. And he's just proved everyone wrong and just kept going and going. And if we can have, say, another few years of him after this foot injury, I'll be over the moon. Just a few more Grand Slams, please. Come on.
Well, how ridiculous is it that I know this is crazy that 2005 is when the doctors told him, yeah, I think that this one you won't be able to continue with this, and that was when he won his first Grand Slam in 2005, and since then he's won another 19 after that with this so-called career-ending injury from then. That's just mad, isn't it? If you just look at that, that's somebody mind over matter, and don't always trust what those doctors say, because sometimes there's always a second opinion, and there's always somebody else out there who knows a little bit better advancement in certain things, and he's obviously found the right people to help him continue along the winning tennis path, because I'm sure there's been a lot of shots he's had to receive just to numb things and just to get him through matches. But yeah, it looks like this is something you cannot ignore anymore. And well done for getting through those past 15 years, because, well, imagine if it had been curtains in 2005. We wouldn't even be here having this podcast, would we?
Yep, exactly. And talking about the injury, why don't we bring it up so we can talk about it in more detail?
Yes.
Because for a change, we actually have some... I was going to say science, but it's not science, is it? We have some...
I'm worried about this. We're turning into like the, the science podcast now.
It's not really science, but we have some, I don't know, some very big words. I think that's what I want to call it, regarding Rafael Nadal's injury. So over to you, Ben.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's just throw this one over to me. So we'll have a look at the problem in his foot. And this is a normal, I'll give this one a go, a talonavicular joint. And this is the degenerated one you can see here for people who are just listening. I'm not sure. It just looks a little bit black there. So whether it's having had a lot of stress on this particular joint, the actual name of it is Muller-Weiss syndrome. And well, it looks like this is the thing that he's had the problem with. It doesn't look like it's in a very, very nice part. It's just on like the top of the foot. If you can't see and you're just listening, it looks like it's just in the bit where the foot meets the leg, really. Like it's just in that joint part on the top of the foot. So that's the best way I can explain it for people listening. So if you were to...
We've got Liam here saying, get your white coat on, Ben. And Half Truth saying the science channel's back.
Yeah, get my stethoscope on. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
it looks painful in this picture, I must admit, especially the way they've made it a bit black.
Yeah, imagine if you were like to bend your foot, say, like upwards, then I can imagine the amount of pain and pressure that goes onto that part of the foot. I'm sure anybody knows from running, this is the sort of thing that when you're pushing off, there's a lot of pressure onto that part of the foot. So I can only imagine that must just be agony. Anything on your feet, we all know.
Touching mine now. I wonder if I've got one.
Well, yeah. Well, we all know from everybody who's plays sports or anybody who's ever had a foot injury. I've had like an Achilles injury, that type of thing. If you ever had like the bottom of your foot, that type of injury, it's debilitating to have anything wrong with your feet, and just to even get around walking, such and such. There's one guy who actually fights in the UFC, who's a champion in the UFC, Kamaru Usman. He has very bad feet problem that this is how bad it is for him. He couldn't even walk upstairs for the whole month. He couldn't walk on hard ground a lot of the time before his fight. He was walking on grass. He was couldn't go upstairs. He said he was pretty much disabled, and he'd get to the fight and he just blocks it out, mind over matter, and goes in and then beats the hell out of everybody. It's just mad. These top sportsmen, mind over matter is crazy. And I think people don't understand how much mental strength these sportsmen have, because it's quite incredible.
Yeah. And it's been an injury, like you said, he's had since 2005. You saw the strapping on his foot against Novak Djokovic in the semi-final of Roland Garros this year. He was more or less limping towards the end of it. I know a lot of people saying he wasn't injured, he wasn't this, he's just making excuses because Djokovic won. Djokovic may still have won if he wasn't injured, because I think Djokovic was amazing on the day. They both were incredible, and we got to see arguably one of the greatest matches ever. But you can't deny the fact that he wasn't injured. You saw the strapping when he had he had a medical timeout, didn't he? When he took his thing off, he had to it was like a mummy.
Yeah, it really was. It was like cutting off like a plaster cast or something on his foot. Like, it's almost like having a broken foot and playing with it. That's what it seemed like to me. And then after it was cut off, you saw how vulnerable he looked on court. It was just, the movement was non-existent after that. Very, very scary times for Rafa. Should we move on to one of the other tweets that we've got?
Let's get off the science podcast. But just before we do, something I want to talk about. This is just the same message, more or less. But you can keep it on that while we do it, instead of get rid of that manky foot. We've got Tusha saying Nadal will still remain inside the top 10 as he'll keep 5,005 points, because that's another point to consider. Yeah. He's dropping down the rankings fast now. He's going to lose points from the US Open. He's going to lose all these other points he's gained. I forget the exact the numbers. I'm sure someone can tell us. Tusha, they're saying 5,005. The thing is, everyone seems to come to a different number.
It's about 2,000 points then, I think.
It's a lot of points he's going to be dropping, for sure, which worries me slightly. But if he can remain inside the top 10, come back next year, I think his seeding will be okay for the tournaments to still have a good shot of winning them. It's Rafael Nadal at the end of the day. I think if he's fit and healthy, remain inside the top 10 and we'll be okay. The only disappointing thing is it means now he's out of the race to Turin. That opens that up to another person, because I think I don't know if he would have enough points anyway already now. Probably not.
No,
there'll be someone else, but it means someone else in that pecking order can get in. I know Casper Ruud's already there. I forget who's on the outskirts. Maybe a Shapa or something like that can push on. Hurkacz, yeah.
There's a few people trying to push in there, aren't there?
I think you said it at the start. Opportunity. That's the key word now. This is a big shot for Tsitsipas, Medvedev, Zverev. These guys, Rublev to an extent. Make a name for yourself now. Go win a big Grand Slam. You've got no Roger, no Rafa. This is a good shot. You've already shown in their careers that they're able to beat Djokovic every now and then. I think it's different in a Grand Slam. But let's see if they can take it to the next level and do something special.
Well,
it's opportunities.
Well, you want to see them at least in a semi-final. If we don't see Zverev or if we don't see Tsitsipas in a semi-final here, then there's going to be questions asked. I mean, we're expecting really now to see Medvedev in a semi-final and Djokovic. If we don't see them, that's going to be a big shock. But Zverev and Tsitsipas have to be the next best, and they have to step up. They have to really step up to play. We saw Tsitsipas in the Australian Open. He came up against Medvedev, fell short. Can he go one better this time? He has to prove it. Can he prove it in Cincinnati? Can he?
Tsitsipas worries me a little bit. He was 2 sets up against Djokovic in the final of Roland Garros. Djokovic took he had a toilet break, come back, different player, and demolished him. Ever since then, every time Tsitsipas now loses a set, he takes a toilet break. He's trying to He's
Ah,
copying Novak Djokovic, but it doesn't always seem to work for him. I know it did the other day against Senegal or last night, but
yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I think his mind's all over the place. He's talking about on-court coaching, then he's talking about vaccines. Why don't you just focus on playing some good tennis? Because we know you're brilliant at it. I want to see a bit more consistency. Let's go deep in a Masters tournament. Can he win this one? Can he go far? Can he get to a Grand Slam final? He's definitely good enough. I know he got to Roland Garros, but why can't he do it on the hard courts and stuff? He's so good at Tsitsipas. I think he needs to make that next step now.
I think so as well. I think the same with Zverev. Zverev, the last year's finalist here,
Yep.
he'll be looking to hopefully get there more convincingly. Obviously, he had to overturn Carreño Busta in last year's one from 2-0 down. And then he was 2-0 up in the Grand Slam final, similar to Tsitsipas, and he let that disappear as well. So there's two people there in the chasing pack who have had winning positions in Grand Slam finals and let it slip away. I think that this is a great opportunity for both of them. No Rafa, no Roger, no, Dominic Thiem as well, defending champion. No Andy Murray. I know that, he might be there, but he's not the same. It's not the same people at the top anymore.
I know what you mean. No Stan Wawrinka. This sort of their group has been dominating it and playing very well. You've got a real shot now to be the new star, and that's what it's all about.
Felix, maybe. Like, he might be, he's looking good. He just beat Berrettini last night in straight sets. That's somebody, if everybody else doesn't perform and he puts in a good performance, he could be pushing for it. I know that sounds crazy, but he has all the tools. There's a lot of players. Rublev, if he puts it together, he could. There's the opportunity. Everybody now go for it. And I just don't want to see these bottle jobs in back ends of Grand Slams. Come on.
Someone who's not a bottle job, and that's Novak Djokovic. What do you reckon he makes of all this news?
Well, it's probably... I bet there is still an element of Djokovic which he has some empathy and some sympathy for Rafa, but deep down inside, it's just one less person on his journey to grabbing another Grand Slam. If you can remove another one, great. Take another one out the way, and it's one less person to beat.
But then could you argue that now adds more pressure on him?
Yes. Yeah, it does. Everyone who
potentially he would have preferred to have Rafa in there because he's got a great record against Rafa on hard courts in the last decade. And now all he's done is heap the pressure on him, just like at the Olympics. There's a lot of pressure. And I know he did all them talks about pressure, but he didn't handle it when it mattered. You saw him smashing rackets, throwing them into the crowd. He couldn't deal with it very well. Is he going to be able to deal with this added pressure now at the US Open, knowing that Rafa's not there? And he is going to be a massive outright favourite to win the whole thing.
Well, he is. And, there's going to be...
So can he deal with the pressure? That's what I'm asking. Can he deal with it? Or are we going to see him fade away and struggle?
Is there going to be, like John Silk jumped in, there's going to be some people shouting this now. Djokovic's 2021 season has a major asterisk beside it now. There's going to be people saying that beside, like, if the players aren't there to beat, then there's always like someone's got something to say, isn't it? That you're not beating all the best players, and that's why. But you can only beat who's in front of you, and it's not his fault.
I've never really liked that.
No, I don't like that.
As much as John's saying, I know he's clutching at straws. He's a Rafa fan, but it's tough to say. You've got to just beat what's been put in front of you. I can say it's more of an asterisk when there's no fans there. Personally, that's the way I feel. I think if you're playing a tournament with no fans, it just sort of takes it more from the fact that there's not great players, because every player what plays in a Grand Slam deserves to be there. That's the attitude I've always had. Even if you're low ranked, if you go through the qualifiers, you deserve to be there. If someone's withdrawn and you've got higher enough ranking, you deserve to be there, and they just deserve their moment in the sun. And if they can make a big name for themselves and go far, all to them, hats off. So I don't really like all of that side of things. I know Silky Boy's trying it a little bit because he's doing what he can do. And
he's poking the bear, I think. That's all he's doing, trying to get draw out some Djokovic.
Yeah, and as Liam saying, I don't think Roger fans would like that either, because most of his Grand Slams would mean that they're not very real, because he's not had to beat always the best players to win these slams.
Well, exactly, but
so it's not the best logic if you're a Federer fan either.
No, well, exactly. I just think it's a bit. I don't know. It's just you can't go down that route. It's just I think he's just going to feel sad for Rafa. I think that those guys at the top of the sport, even though they're in competition, there's only two other people in the world who can understand what they're going through. And I think they all do have empathy for each other, and they do speak to each other quite regularly. And I think that they're the only people that you can turn to sometimes at times like that to can actually fully understand the pressure that you're under. They're all on 20 Grand Slams, and that's the one thing we're going to miss now. There's only one 20 Grand Slam champion who's going to be going into this tournament. We were talking about 3 a month ago.
Can he convert it to 21? It's going to be a big ask, but in a Grand Slam scenario, I really do fancy him personally. I think Vikash hits the nail on the head. He said no way Zverev will beat Djokovic in a 5-setter. Djokovic will eat him alive. I tend to agree. I've always said he's the best of 5 sets in the world. Djokovic, no one's better than him. No,
there isn't. I mean, you can win 2 sets against him, but you try and get that third one over the line, it's a struggle. And you saw with what happened with Tsitsipas in that French Open, that 2-all game lasted, I think, nearly 13 minutes for him to try and hold his serve. And as soon as he got broken, see you later. That's it. Game over. Really, just from one game.
Yeah.
It's just mad what can happen, but that's Djokovic for you.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have to end it there because the longer this goes on, the closer I'm going to get to crying. I don't want it to happen. But no, Rafael Nadal is confirmed. We're not going to see him in 2021 now. Well, unless you're on the golf course, because he's going to be playing a bit of golf in Spain.
Hey.
But no more tennis for him this year. No US Open. Roll on 2022. To be honest, mate, I'm done with this season as well. I might pack it in as well.
Nah, we're not done yet. We got the opportunity for the calendar year Grand Slam for Novak Djokovic, so we'll be tuning in to see if he can get that one done in the US Open. But we still got Cincinnati action continuing this week. Going to be interesting to see who makes it to the final there, and maybe one of these chasing pack can stake their claim for the US Open, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. If you haven't already, guys, hit the like button on this video. It really does help us out. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later on for another podcast.
Great stuff. See you then.